Yeah. Everybody's saying that the Green Bay Packers are going to trade for Micah Parsons.
They are saying that.
And they're going to pay him
$45 million a year, baby.
$45 million a year.
Already done. Yep.
That would be an absurd move to just think about and hypothesize about a few years ago. But now, Green Bay Packers take Matthew Golden in the first round, wide receiver. Place erupts.
Yeah.
All reports out of camp is he's the guy.
Yeah.
If they were to trade for Micah Parsons to Green Bay, Wisconsin, from Dallas, Texas, to that team, immediate game record for you guys.
Yes.
Small town, he'd be beloved. Now, Happy Valley went to Penn State, small town feel as well. So I'm not saying that he needs to be in a big city or anything like that, but that would be a wild life event for Micah Parsons to go from Dallas in the Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers. Two very storied tradition teams, obviously. A lot of history, a lot of greatness, but that would be an insane move to think about. I'm sure Packers fans even like saying, yeah, Packers are going to trade for a guy that's going to be the highest paid guy in the history of defensive football and give some things up that are very important to the future. That's not really a Packers thing, is it? Why does it feel like most Green Bay Packers fans think this is going to happen? We got people tracking fake planes.
Oh, yeah.
We got private planes being tracked. People don't know whose planes these are. But holy shit, there's a plane go Dallas, Green Bay? How many people flying Dallas, Green Bay?
No one.
Green Bay's flying to Dallas? It's August 27th.
I mean, I guess this could be Big Mike, going back and forth, from his Dallas house to the barn.
Getting tracked everywhere. This is what's happening on the internet. Like the thoughts of this happening feels real to people.
Yeah, I mean, would this be out of character and just absolutely crazy? Without a doubt. They've had a couple splash trades they've made in the past, but Mark Murphy's not there anymore. We got a new, team president, Ed Policy, so maybe he wants to make a little bit of a splash.
Oh, there's a new policy around here.
Exactly, and we're looking for stars, not just ones on the side of the helmet, but, he's legitimately, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, probably. If his career continues on the arc that it's been, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, it just screams Reggie White. The Packers traded for him. They couldn't really get they couldn't actually sack the quarterback. If you look at all the advanced statistics, it's like, hey, they're getting home a lot. They create a lot of pressures and things of that nature, but they don't really sack. They need a guy who can finish, and Micah can finish. So if it takes $45 million over the next 5 years, and it takes 3 first-round picks and a second-round pick and a fourth-round pick, at this point, that takes me from, hey, I think the Packers will make it to the playoffs, and if they're playing their best, maybe they can.
5 years, $225 million.
Yep. Already got
2 first-rounders.
Yep. Maybe even 3. Do whatever you got to do
with
to
the
get
swap.
Pick 32. Who wants it?
Well, that's my other thing is that if Jordan Love stays healthy, the Packers aren't going to be picking in the top 10. So those you shouldn't hold on to those picks thinking hey, we're going to be able to get a Micah Parsons at the top of the first round next year. You're not. You just that's not going to happen. So if there's any chance that this can get done,
is there?
See, normally I would say this is bullshit and why am I getting this excited for something like this? But it's been like this for 2 weeks now, and it just kind of continues to pick up steam. And then Rap Sheet, when he's in here, he says that would be a destination. Yes, if Dallas were to trade him, the Packers would be massive players in that. And then we hear, hey, they actually they submitted an offer to the Cowboys. Now, Jerry wasn't ready to listen to it, but it hasn't stopped.
Wasn't ready to listen to it. I like that. That's the way it was worded.
Yeah.
Not that he didn't. Jerry didn't listen to it. He's well, he wasn't ready yet to listen to it. Now we're a little bit further down the road. Now, Jerry has said that any talks of trade are BS, I believe, on the Stephen A. Smith show.
Yes.
Whenever he talked to him. So you got to take that with a grain of salt in the entire conversation. And then Shoddy, I believe, came out and said he had conversations with them and they want good. It's okay, what do all these things mean? We'll talk directly to some people with boots on the ground and see if we can get a little bit more realistic perspective on Micah Parsons getting traded from the Dallas Cowboys to the Green Bay Packers and getting paid $45 million a year in doing so. That would be insane.
Let's get nutty. Let's get wild. Why not?
That Matthew Golden pop.
Yeah.
At the draft.
All time.
Multiply that by 100 if they trade for Micah Parsons.
An entire city might just go to
implode on itself. We might not even be able to play football next year.
How is that conversation there? Is it a reality? What are the thoughts on that becoming a thing for the people that actually know what's going on over there, like yourself?
Yeah, I think right now, to my knowledge, Jerry's not even listening to trade offers, so I'm not sure that an actual trade offer can be made unless he picks up the phone. So the Packers may have, an outline of what they would offer, but if Jerry Jones isn't listening to legitimate trade offers, then I'm not sure that one is technically on the table. It's semantics, but if he does entertain it, from what I've heard, the Packers will be interested and will be in the mix, which, look, it's information, but it's not a surprise. If you think back to 2018, and Ty knows this, the Packers aren't, normally in the mix on these big name trades, and you don't really always see them get in the mix around the trade deadline. But the Packers finished second place to the Bears for Khalil Mack in 2018, and they were barely outbid. Brian Gutekunst, a couple times in his career, that being, the biggest instance, has been willing to offer a first-round pick for a veteran player. In some instances, it just hasn't panned out, and other teams have outbid them. So this is kind of an eerily similar situation where it's right before the season, as the Khalil Mack trade was. It's for a edge rusher in the prime of his career, and it would really take the Packers to the next level. What would it take if this were to become a reality? It would be multiple first-round picks at least, and I think a player like a wide receiver. I'm not sure they would have to give up any edge rushers, but it might be a player like a Romeo Doubs or a Dontavian Wicks, plus a couple first-round picks and maybe more draft capital later in the draft.
And if you give away a couple first-round picks, obviously you're making the move so that you're very late in the first round. So is it actually an early second round, depending upon the draft class and how everybody's ranked? If you can win, I think every fan is like, let's make the play. And you talked about Gutekunst potentially being in on this before. Can they handle it? Can they handle a $45 million salary? How does that kind of look going forward? Because they've already paid Jordan, right? Mm-hmm. So is that beneficial or not beneficial for this type of thing?
Yeah, they can fit it. I mean, their third highest cap number on the team this year was Jair Alexander, and they freed up a bunch of space by releasing him. The two highest are Jordan and Rashawn Gary, I think. So financially, it's the cop-out answer, but there's always a way to make it work, and they figure out how to make it work. I do think it's interesting. I'm not sure how much this affects things if negotiations do happen. David Mulugeta represents the most important player for the Packers on offense and on defense, and he obviously represents Micah Parsons too.
That's crazy. Mulugeta will get a deal. If there's a deal to get done, Mulugeta will get it done, and his client will win. Mm-hmm. On that note, Ty has a question for you.
Yeah, Schneid's, I think everyone probably assumes that, LaFleur and Gutekunst will get re-upped here shortly just because the Packers have been pretty successful over their run and they've made the playoffs. But is there any thought with Ed Policy coming in and it not being Mark Murphy there anymore and kind of it being a little bit of a new regime? Is this in any way maybe like kind of a prove-it year for both LaFleur and Gutekunst if the Packers kind of, I don't want to say fall flat, but don't kind of do what a lot of people expect them to do?
Yeah, so we sat down with Ed Policy, just the local writers, a couple weeks ago, and he said he's not extending LaFleur and Gutekunst now. LaFleur and Gutekunst both have 2 years left on their contracts. This is Gute's 8th year, LaFleur's 7th. He said he also doesn't want them in contract years, so basically he would like to make a decision one way or the other after this season. My take coming out of that was, okay, he's leaning toward extending them. Sure, LaFleur and Gute are not Ed's guys technically, but Ed has been here since 2012. He served on the hiring panel for Matt LaFleur. He negotiated the contracts for LaFleur and Gutekunst as the Packers' general counsel. But there is something to be said for wanting to make your mark and, viewing things differently than maybe Mark Murphy did. So I spoke to someone recently and was told that he's truly up in the air about the futures of Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst. So I might have been wrong in my initial read. Look, if the Packers don't make the playoffs this year, which I don't think happens, but it's a possibility, I could certainly see Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst, and I don't think this is hyperbole, both getting fired after this year. Now, if they make the playoffs, say lose in the first round again, it could be something where Ed lets them go into a contract year because he needs to see more. If they go further in the playoffs, they'll probably get extended. So my takeaway from that is it's very much up in the air, and their jobs, again, I don't think this is dramatic to say, are very much in the balance when it comes to how the team does this season.
That's pretty, you said not dramatic. I think it's pretty dramatic. That'd be a huge change.
Yeah.
That'd be a huge change for the Green Bay Packers, especially with how I like the policies coming in with his own policy.
Yeah, me too.
I like that Ed's just like, you know what? New policy in town.
That's policy football.
What I say goes.
Yeah. What Mark said, cool, that's Murphy's Law.
It's his policy.
All right?
Yes.
Ed's got policies, and these are them. You win, or I'm sick of watching it.